status of which Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 4058 under Committee Report number 18. This refers to the 2026 General Appropriations Bill. The parliamentary status of which is that we are in the period of interpellation. I further move that we now consider the budget of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, its attached agencies, Office of the Secretary, Council of the Welfare of Children, National Authority of Children Care, Juvenile Justice and Welfare Council, National Anti-Poverty Commission, National Council on Disability Affairs, Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor, National Commission for Senior Citizens, and other executive offices like the National Commission on Indigenous People. And recognize the distinguished sponsor, Senator Pia Cayetano, and to interpellate Senator Erwin Tulfo.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, we are now in consideration of, again, House Bill number 4058 under Committee Report number 18, and the Department of Social Welfare and Development and its attached agencies is now in order. Senator Pia Cayetano is recognized for any response to the report on the budget of the DSWD.
Thank you.
Thereafter, we will call on the interpellator. Go ahead, Senator Pia Cayetano.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I do have an opening statement, and I need to put on record the budget of the agency and the attached agencies and the supervised agency and the one under executive office. So the gentleman may want to sit down first. There are lots of numbers that I have to read.
It's okay.
Mr. President, I am ready to sponsor the budget of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, the Office of the Secretary, with a total new appropriation of 224,531,789,000 pesos, and the 5 attached agencies, the Council for the Welfare of Children, with total new appropriations of 202,625,000 pesos, the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Council with a total new appropriation of 133,058,000 pesos, the National Authority for Child Care with a total new appropriation of 747,467,000 pesos, the National Commission of Senior Citizens with a total new appropriation of 3,596,953,000 pesos. The National Council on Disability Affairs with a total new appropriation of 187,216,000 pesos. There are 2 supervised agencies, the National Anti-Poverty Commission with a total new appropriation of 369,393,000 pesos. The Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor with a total new appropriation of 248,202,000 pesos. And the Executive Office under the Office of the President, the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples with total new appropriation of 1,726,625,000 pesos. The Finance Committee supported the recommendations of the subcommittee on quite a number of items. Also for the attached agencies, the National Authority for Child Care and the National Council on Disability Affairs. We have had the privilege, Mr. President, of being Senior Vice Chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance. This is actually our 7th year. And this is the first time we'll be handling the budget of the DSWD. We look forward to responding to the questions of our colleagues. We just want to emphasize, Mr. President, that this is the agency that stands at the forefront of our nation's response when disasters strike, when families lose their livelihood, and when our most vulnerable citizens need urgent support. As chairperson of the Senate Committee on Sustainable Development Goals, Innovation and Futures Thinking, I also examined the budget of DSWD through the lens of SDGs, particularly SDG 1 on no poverty, to ensure that its programs effectively address income deprivation, expand social protection, and uplift households across the country. Anchored in futures thinking, we aim to proactively shape a resilient Philippines by advocating for bold, sustained investments that future-proof our social protection systems, create diverse and sustainable livelihood pathways, and guarantee truly equitable access to health, education, essential services for this generation and the generations yet to come. Our budget also seeks to be aligned with the following SDGs: SDG 1 on no poverty, SDG 2 on zero hunger, SDG 5 on gender equality, SDG 8 on decent work and economic growth, SDG 10 on reduced inequalities, and always SDG 17 on partnerships. The DSWD remains central in upholding the dignity and well-being of the Filipino people. By investing in social protection programs, we are not merely extending financial assistance, we are breaking cycles of intergenerational poverty, enabling families to build sustainable livelihood, and empowering vulnerable people to fully participate in our country's development. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge DSWD's hardworking frontliners, social workers, volunteers, and community organizers who serve often under difficult conditions yet remain steadfast in their mission to serve with compassion and integrity. With this, I'm ready to accept questions from my colleagues, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right. Senator Erwin Tulfo is recognized as manifested by the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Mr. President, ang lagi pong tinatanong sa DSWD ay ito pong Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program. Naging controversial po ito nung nagdaang taon, pero mukhang inaayos naman po ng administrasyon. Tanong ko lamang po, Mr. President, kumusta na po ba ang ating 4Ps? Ilan na po ang nakatawid? Kasi sabi nga, Pantawid Pamilya Pilipino Program. Ilan na po ang nakatawid sa 4Ps? Ano pong support o transition programs ang binibigay sa mga existing households para hindi na sila bumalik sa kahirapan, Mr. President, Madam Chair?
Under the current administration, Mr. President, approximately 1.4 million families have graduated from the 4Ps program from 2021 to 2025. These families exited the program after meeting the necessary conditions and demonstrating improved well-being. By next year, DSWD is expecting around 1.8 million more families to undergo mandatory exit from the program. These are households that would have completed the 7-year maximum duration as prescribed by law. Once they reach this cap, they are automatically exited from the program, regardless of current status.
Mr. President, nabawasan na po ba ang backlog? Kasi when I used to be the Secretary of DSWD, mayroon pong backlog kami sa dami kasi po nag-aantay na makapasok sa programa. Nabawasan na po ba itong backlog na ito?
Okay, thank you. Mr. President, there is going to be a transition to the CBMS data. This is the community-based data. Although they have not made the formal transition because the numbers are coming in batches, in trickles, geographically, this appears to be a smaller number than the one that they are basing their current beneficiaries on, Mr. President. But would His Honor like me to go back to his question? I think he asked about the transition. Would you like me to go back to that?
Yes.
Yeah. So the
Madam
transition
Chair.
plan for the 4Ps is the SLPs, the Sustainable Livelihood Programs. And what is heartwarming and uplifting about this data is that 92% of the SLP beneficiaries come from the 4Ps household, meaning after sila natulungan kumbaga pang survival mode nila, they have been able to transform themselves and become beneficiaries of our sustainable livelihood and earn an income for themselves. 92% yung ito, Mr. President, and this is what we consider our transition program.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that answer, Madam Chair. Now, my next question is, well, actually, I would like to commend, Mr. President, this committee for increasing the budget allocated for the establishment of 5 regional Bahay Pag-asa from 75 million under the GAB to 275 million in our committee report. Ito po bang 275, Ginoong Pangulo, Madam Chair, ay para sa konstruksyon ng mga bagong pasilidad ng DSWD?
Mr. President, the amount of 200 million is for the establishment of regional Bahay Pag-asa, and these are five separate locations, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. President. Also, Mr. President, I would like to commend this committee for increasing by 8.2 billion the budget allocated for social pension for indigent senior citizens. 663,000 wait-listed beneficiaries ang sinasabing magbe-benefit po dito. Ilan na po ba ang total number of beneficiaries ng programa, Mr. President, Madam Chair?
His Honor is correct. The added amount will be able to support additional 663,460 eligible senior citizens.
With the 558.02, 4.75 million.
So with the current amount that the Senate has proposed and adopted, I mean, the Senate is in the budget of the Senate, it is 58 billion, which will cover 4.75 million senior citizen beneficiaries.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. President, Madam Chair. This representation noticed that the Senate committee report retained the NEP or NEP level allocation for the AIX program amounting to 27 billion. Yung GAB po ay nagdagdag ng 32 billion. Bakit hindi po ito na-adapt ng komite? Kasi thinking, Mr. President, Madam Chair, hindi na po natin, ito pong AX na ito, ginagamit po ito, hindi lamang po kung may bagyo, may kalamidad, marami pong gamit ito, nandyan din po, kinukuha ng DSWD, educational assistance, ika nga tuwing pasukan o burial, medical, marami pong pinagagamitan po ito. Kaya po ba, ang tanong po natin, Madam Chair, happy po ba ang DSWD with this allocation na bawasan po, inalisan po, enlist po yung 32 billion, dapat po ito ay nasa at least mga 50 billion man lang kasi every year hindi po natin alam kung gaano karaming bagyo ang papasok next year. We hope we can predict ngayon, this year we experience may mga earthquakes sunod-sunod po. Tapos nandyan pa rin po yung pagsunog tuwing summertime. So, ano ho ang reaksyon ho ng DSWD dito at nabawasan po yung kanilang assistance for individual in crisis situation?
Thank you for that question, Mr. President. There's a little bit of history here. In the first submission of the subcommittee to the Finance Committee, we recommended the NEP amount indicated, the NEP amount of the budget, which is 27 billion. Di ho natin binabaan yung NEP. Let's be clear about that, no? We did not reduce the amount in the National Expenditure Program. What we didn't do is we didn't adopt the House version. And there are a couple of reasons for this, Mr. President, but to summarize it, there has been a lot of clamor for institutional-based interventions, that the assistance that would be given to the assistance that we all recognize are much needed by the vulnerable populations, the different vulnerable populations, be targeted to them in different modes. For example, through healthcare interventions, through educational interventions, and this, Mr. President, is considered to be more people-centered and sustainable. So that was the initial recommendation. And then succeeding events happened, which, sorry, let me add, Mr. President, I had also